think we're drawing to the home stretch of our session. And this is supposed to be the part where I encourage you not to let up and to practice hard. But I can't really do that because the practice has just been so outstanding this week. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. We've had wonderful service, great work in the kitchen, outstanding work by the servers. Just everyone has been right there penetrating each dharma as it arises. As Miyoko said, one step at a time. Dharma talks have been wonderful. Still, Roshi's showing up is still with me. But one talk that really got me going was Shinryu's story about the fire. It really touched a few of my buttons because, I couldn't help imagining myself at Tassajara, standing on the ridge with those guys, and the abbot says the fire's moving in, the road's going to get closed off, but we're going to go down and save the monastery. And I just know, had I been there, I would have said, gee, I wish you guys all the luck in the world. And so Shinryu's talk, brought me face to face with an embarrassing truth about myself. I'm not very brave. I'm not very noble. For me, discretion is often the better part of valor. But when I thought of our study text, it made me feel a little better, because I said to myself, okay, some bamboo is tall, some bamboo is short. All dharmas are the Buddha Dharma. There's tall bamboo, and there's short bamboo, and the tall bamboo glows with the light of the Dharma because it's tall bamboo, and the short bamboo glows with the light of the Dharma because it's short bamboo. So, okay, I'm a short bamboo. But, a cat can look at a king. I can practice in the lineage of Dogen Zenji too. Why not? So, this phrase of Dogen Zenji points us to, I think, an experience that we've all had. All dharmas are the Buddha Dharma. There's a old story about a lay family called Pong that I think brings out the truth of this saying of Dogen Zenji's. The Pongs, it was a father, a mother, and a daughter, and they all were thought to be enlightened, but the daughter had the clearest eyes. And one day, the father, old Layman Pong, was reading a sutra, and he suddenly put it down and said, "Difficult, difficult, difficult," like trying to put 100 bushels of millet on top of a tree. Pretty hard. And then his wife immediately piped up, "Easy, easy, easy. It's like your feet touching the floor when you get out of bed." And then the daughter said, "No, neither difficult nor easy. On the tips of 100 grass blades, the patriarch's meaning." The 100 grass blades just being the dharmas and all their wonderful irritatingness, recalcitrance, surprisingness, beauty, ugliness. Yes, when you're trying to put those millet seeds on top of a tree, and sometimes it feels like that, the patriarch's meaning is right there. Difficult. And when you get out of bed and your feet touch the floor, easy. The patriarch's meaning is right there on the tips of every one of the dharmas. All dharmas are the Buddha Dharma. And the fact that she used this image of grass really got me going, because it brought me back to one of my very first experiences in Zen. I did my first Sesshin. Well, it was part of a Sesshin, which was a good thing, because I thought I'd died and gone to hell. I mean, really, it was one of the most miserable experiences ever. I was in excruciating pain, like from the second period onward. I was tired. There were no showers. I was dirty. It was awful. And then one period, we did outdoor kinhin, and we were walking on a path along the grass in front of the monastery, and I felt I can see every single blade of grass. I've never seen grass before. All dharmas are the Buddha Dharma. There it was, right there, my first session. And I think almost anyone who does a sesshin has that kind of experience. You know, you're looking at the tree and you see the tree, you really see it. You really see those clouds in the sky. It's wonderful. Of course, it takes a bit more practice to see that all dharmas are the Buddha Dharma, including those elves who are sticking ice picks in your legs. They're the Buddha Dharma, no less than the beautiful grass in front of the monastery. That takes a little more work to see that, I think. So when all dharmas are the Buddha Dharmas, yes, just as they are, life and death, Buddhas and beings, enlightenment and delusion, each one the Buddha Dharma, just as it is. How wonderful. Dogen Zenji, in another one of his essays, tells a story about a time when he went to China, and I think it's kind of a funny story. He's not a great humorist, Dogen, but I thought this was a funny story. So, before he found his true temple and his true teacher, Master Ru Jing, he did a lot of touring around to various temples in China. I kind of think of them as the Brand X temples. None of them suited him. He was at one of these, and there was a picture in one of the corridors of Master Nagarjuna manifesting as the full moon of Buddha nature, of enlightenment, of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. So there was a picture of this, this moon shape. Dogen said to the monk who was showing him around, "That's wrong." You know that's Dogen, right? No, that's not right. The monk goes, "Well, what's wrong?" He says, "Well, if they wanted to show Nagarjuna manifesting as the full moon of enlightenment, they should have drawn a human shape. They should have drawn a guy sitting on a cushion. That's the complete manifestation, not some picture of a moon." So the painting of the moon, this essay was entitled Buddha Nature. It's quite a complicated essay, but actually the two principal teachings in it are fairly simple. One is that all are Buddha nature. All is Buddha nature. That's the first. And the second is Buddha nature is impermanence. All are Buddha nature. Buddha nature is impermanence. And so, taking a leaf out of Dogen's book, I can look around, sometimes I sneak a peek when we're doing zazen, and I see all these impermanent beings on their cushion, all manifesting Buddha nature, all manifesting the pure moon of enlightenment. And I'm not seeing a moon or a circle. I'm seeing Shinryu Sensei, I'm seeing Joan, I'm seeing Sesshin, Tokyo, each one manifesting that pure, perfect moon. That's all there is to it. It's not a big deal. It's not something so philosophical. But, of course, there's a sort of a subtle flaw in my vision when I'm doing that. I'm kind of like the guy in Dogen's boat who goes, "Oh, the shore's moving." And he doesn't realize he's moving too. Yeah, the shore is moving. There it is. As you can see it, it's moving. Oh, but I'm not still. I too am impermanent. Impermanence gazes out and appreciates impermanence. There aren't all these separate moons when you look at it from this perspective. There's just the one moon. There's just the one pure, perfect moon of formless form, changing moment to moment to moment. Not even any moments. And so when you realize that you're the guy on the boat who's moving too, yeah, right, all the myriad dharmas are without self. There's no Shinryu, no Joan, no Tokyo, no delusion, no enlightenment, no me, no you. So, from this perspective, there isn't really much to say or do. Just now, so far, these two perspectives that Dogen Zenji has mentioned, they're, at the beginning, they're philosophical perspectives. But as we practice, and really not too long into our practice, they become our direct experience. Not stuff, oh, well, that's cool, all dharmas are the Buddha Dharma. No, we see that. And, wow, all dharmas are without self. You can't even say there's one, because there's no two. Oh, that's cool. No. They become our direct experiences, and the good news is we get to practice the truth. One way we do this, of course, is in our zazen. We wander off into a daydream. We notice it. We let it go. Oh! And in that moment of letting go, that split second, that nanosecond, the dharmas are without self. There's no delusion. There's no enlightenment. There's no one sitting here. There's just letting go. Impermanence doing its thing. We open our hands. Just takes not even that long. And then we come back. We show up. We try to be here with the reality of our life. We make an effort. Okay. And this is when we go beyond abundance and lack. Yeah, there is delusion and enlightenment. There's being here and going off into a daydream. There are people who have been practicing well over more than 30 years, like Roshi, and there are people who are just beginning their practice. Yeah. Sure, this is the Buddha way. We're practicing zazen, and let's try to be here before the period ends. And we do this also, same deal, up at the altar. So when we face the altar, you probably know that on the altar there's the four elements: earth, air, fire, and water. You know, the candle, the incense is air, the flowers are the earth, and there's the other one too. And then there's a Buddha above them. All these dharmas, the entire great earth, is the Buddha Dharma, and there we are, standing in front of it, our hands palm to palm. Wow, all dharmas are the Buddha Dharma. And then what do? We let go. I'm without self. And the Dharma is without self. There is no separation between little old me, the short bamboo, and all of that. It's just this bow. happening in this moment. And then we stand up. And we're ready to go. We're ready to chant. We're ready to be one with Master Nagarjuna's teachings when we chant the Heart Sutra, or Master Shito's teachings when we chant the identity of relative and absolute. And we're ready to put our voices together and get some energy into the circus here. Yes, there's good chanting and bad chanting. There's sincere chanting and bullshit chanting. That's because we're walking the Buddha way beyond abundance and lack. And this especially comes up, in our ceremony of repentance. We start it right off with this letting go. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, etc., etc. Now I atone for it all. I am one with it all. No separation between me and Genghis Khan and Joseph Stalin and Mao Zedong and Adolf Hitler. No separation. I atone for it all. I am all of it now, here, under these causes and conditions. And the cool thing is now I can do something about it. Because I'm here. I'm breathing. I can walk the Buddha way. All right? And so what do? Next we continue to bow, this time becoming one, not with our bad karma, but with all the Buddha and Bodhisattva energies we know we need to do all the, getting tangled up here, all the energies we need to do something about that karma. We become one with them. And now we've cleared our karma, we become intimate with our own energies, and what do? To wind things up? 4 vows. We're ready to act on the 4 vows. We're ready to act in the world of good and bad, right and wrong, Republicans and Democrats, sages and assholes. So, this notion of repentance is absolutely critical, and I hope, as I've outlined these various practices, you can see how we are continually dying and being reborn in each moment. I was talking to someone in an interview about life and death. Well, this is it. Dying and being reborn, and dying in the next moment and being reborn. This is the Buddha way. There's a koan that gets at, I think very nicely, at this process of continual death and rebirth. It's one of the most famous koans in the literature. It involves a cat. And there were, at Nanchuan's monastery, the monks in the Eastern Hall and the Western Hall were fighting about a cat. And we don't know exactly what they were fighting about. Traditionally, maybe someone's saying Cat has Buddha nature. Cat doesn't have Buddha nature. You know, cat's just a mass of aggregates. No, it's a cat. It's a nice kitty. We don't know. But anyway, you know, Nanchuan came and he saw these monks getting all heated up about absolutely nothing. And he picked up the cat. He held it. Now this is important. He held the cat right there. There it is. There's the cat. He says, if you can say a word, I will spare the cat. If you can't say a word, I'm going to kill it. Not one of those loquacious monks could say or do a damn thing. Story goes on. So that evening, Nanchuan's most talented disciple, Joshu, came back from some errand. He was running, and Nanchuan told him what had happened. And as soon as he heard it, Joshu put his sandal on his head and walked out of the room. And Nanchuan said, well, gee, if you'd been there, you could have saved the cat. Of course, the joke of the koan is, of course, Joshu did save the cat. Nanchuan held up the cat again under different causes and conditions and asked Joshu to say a word. Joshu. What was Joshu saying there? Well, he was showing himself as Joshu, just as Ryotan shows himself as the short bamboo. When we penetrate each dharma, walking the Buddha way, we don't do it as Buddhists, or as nice people, or as rotten people, or as talented people, or as inadequate people. We just do it as ourselves. All dharmas are the Buddha Dharma. There are tall people, short people, experienced people, inexperienced people, solemn people and funny people, crazy people. All of them can show up. All of them can die to this moment and be reborn in the next moment, and they can act in the world as themselves according to karma and causes and conditions. We all can walk the Buddha way. That cat is being held up each and every moment in our zazen, each and every moment if we're working in the kitchen, if we're serving, if we're striking a gong, that cat is being held up. And Master Nanchuan is saying, please, please, say a word. Penetrate this dharma, not in some stereotyped way or some way you think you're supposed to be doing it, but as the Buddha you are. As the Buddha you are, that's what I want to see. That's the only word that can save this cat. It's a word that only you can say, a thing that only you can do. It's all in your hands. It was never about anyone else other than you. You know, I have a cat, two actually, but the one I'm going to talk about is named Snarky. It's short for Snurkle Puss. You can see why we call her Snurky. And Snurky might be the laziest cat. She's definitely the laziest cat I've ever come across. She basically sleeps all day and moves for only two reasons: to go to the food bowl or to go to the litter box. And Corinna and I joke whenever she asks me what my talk is going to be about, I say it's going to be about Snurky. And so I said that to her in an email. Yes, I was bad. I sent an email. I said, as a joke, I said, send me some pictures of Snurky so I can use it as a visual aid. and so she sent me a ton of pictures of Snurky, and I had to laugh. I said, none of these pictures look like Snurky because she has her eyes open. Snurky is in the animal realm. She's perfect and complete, just as she is. She is as reflective of the Buddha Dharma, embodies the Buddha Dharma as much as any one of us. But Snurky can't walk the Buddha way. In Snurky's world, there is no delusion, no enlightenment, no right or wrong. The human realm, the principal characteristic of the human realm is delusion. And though that might sound like bad news, what it actually is a glorious opportunity. It's a glorious opportunity to let go of all that and wake up in each moment. It's an opportunity to save all beings, not as a long-term project, to save all beings now, right now, as just who you are. To let go of all desires right now, to master all dharmas right now, and to attain the unattainable Buddha way as just the short or the tall bamboo that you happen to be right now. It's been such a privilege and an honor to walk the Buddha way with you this past week. Let's give it a good go in the short time we have remaining.